I want to take you now live to the Eastern Cape, where the trial of Timothy Omotoso and two co-accused has resumed in the Port Elizabeth High Court. There's developments there, and Lerato Fekisi joins us now live from Gqeberha to tell us more. A very good morning to you, Lerato. Thank you so much for joining us on the agenda. What's happening in Gqeberha?
Good morning to you, Simpiwe. This morning, Judge Gqeberha dismissed an application by the defense which stated that the private state prosecutor was unduly appointed. If you remember then, Simpiwe, just take you back a bit, about a week ago, the defense came forward with applications saying that they want Pastor Omotoso and his two co-accused to be acquitted because at the time they made their plea to the prosecutors at the time, the prosecutors that were at that time were actually acting and were not permanent. And he said that because of that, the pastor and his two co-accused must be acquitted. The state came back and said that in fact the prosecutors actually were appointed by the National Prosecutor Authority and they had the right to take the plea. So this morning Judge Gqeberha said that the defense was wrong and the application fell flat. What we did here this morning was also the defense lawyer Peter Durbinen really picking through the evidence brought forward by the state. Number one, asking for a mistrial and saying that on top of his agenda for asking for a mistrial is because he believes that there are emails that he's got in his possession that clearly state that prosecutor advocate Ntelwa did interfere with witnesses and try to convince them to give certain evidence against Pastor Timothy Omotoso. Second to that, through the evidence, Peter Durbinen also highlighted that various evidence that came from the witnesses highlighted that many of them were saying they were actually touched, not necessarily penetrated by the pastor. So Peter Durbinen was saying that the prosecution was wrong in saying that the pastor raped these witnesses because in their statements they said they were not raped by him, but instead it was just rather touching of their genitals. We've now adjourned for lunch when we go back at about 12 o'clock, where the defense will continue to really plow through the evidence of the state, really putting forward that their prosecution, their evidence that they put forward to the court was indeed flawed and the pastor must definitely be acquitted. Back to you, Simpiwe.
All right, Lerato, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll certainly touch base with you as more developments emerge from this trial. Lerato Fekisi is speaking to us live from Gqeberha, where the trial of human trafficker and sexual harassment accused Pastor Timothy Omotoso is ongoing. This is the agenda on SABC News. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment.